I was just minding my business, casually cutting this man's hair. Neither one of us could have prepared for the conversation that was about to take place. I promise you it's gonna get a little uncomfortable, but I promise it's worth the stay. Even though I couldn't believe we was having this conversation in June 2025, I still think these are important conversations to have.
So having that argument of white people shouldn't braid their hair is like kind of pointless. Because black people shouldn't straighten their hair.
Bro, we know why that's happening. Come on, bro, that's a whole nother argument. You talk about a systematic situation. You talk about a whole systematic oppression that occurred that forced black people to think they had to have their hair straight to be acceptable.
This man came in for a haircut. He did not ask to be here for this conversation. But at the end of the day, if he not around conversations like this, he ain't never gonna know.
When millions of Africans were brutally ripped from their homes and shipped to the New World, their heads were shaved as a way to take away their cultural identity. But cornrows helped enslaved Africans put up small acts of rebellion and resistance by not only allowing them to keep their heritage close, but also providing a discreet way to transfer information. Through time, cornrows have remained popular amongst Africans and the black diaspora, and have come to symbolize so much more than just aesthetics.
It's not our fault that we don't embrace our hair.
So
it's part of the system.
So you think white people braiding their hair means they want to be black or somebody else?
I think that white people have stolen enough from black culture. And them braiding their hair is a part of them appropriating black culture.
My argument about this is I don't like when white people try to act black. I don't think braiding their hair is acting black.
It's okay for you not to think, but that's actually what it is. Because cornrows is actually black history. Like, that's historically black. It comes from Africa, and also it was used as a communication mechanism during slavery to draw maps on people's heads and say this is where the fuck to go to safety and all these other things. So that's a historical fact.
Cornrows are literally a part of our history. Our ancestors used to use those intricate designs as maps to escape
Cornrows,
slavery.
not boxer braids, KKW braids, or birthday braids. This style differs from the braid because it isn't always formed by intertwining 3 strands of hair that hang from the scalp. That way of braiding hair is also a part of other cultures, like for example Native American culture or even Scandinavian culture. But cornrows specifically are a hairstyle that black women have literally been wearing for centuries. Different types of hairstyles actually symbolize social rank, so warriors and kings were identified by their braided hairstyle. It's still actually largely worn throughout West Africa, Sudan, and the Horn of Africa, and can signify one's age, religious beliefs, kinship, marital status, and even wealth.
I'm literally walking around wearing history on my head.
So that being said, no, that's just disrespectful. You know where all the white people go to get those cornrows?
I know white people that can braid.
You talk about white people that can braid, black people. Like, I'm talking about, can you go get cornrows at your shop, at your hair salon, where your wife goes?
They don't get braid, so that's not what they specialize in. You gotta go
They don't specialize in it because they don't do black hair.
In America, where we live, is a melting pot of a whole bunch of cultures that are forming together, that are taking things from each other. We can't pick and choose that. We can take everything. You're mixing two different. Why is it just not they want to embrace our culture?
No, because they don't have to do it to embrace it. They can support it. They can just say, hey, here's $100 to support your black business.
Spaghetti to embrace Italian.
You don't have. It's not the same thing, bro.
Not many of us probably know why it's just not a black hairstyle, or it's not
because of slavery.
It's not. It's not the same thing.
Well, we're not even far past slavery, but we're so far past having a braid.
No, bro. No, bro. No, we're not far past that because just a couple years ago, did they pass the Crown Act that I was on the news for?
We're continuing to celebrate Black History Month today, and we're focusing in on an issue that disproportionately affects people of color, and it's not something a lot of people think about, but it is important. Discrimination based on the way a person wears their hair.
Yeah, here in New York State, we have the Crown Act, which does protect from that kind of discrimination in workplaces and schools, but how exactly did we get here? I sat down with 4 incredible women of color to talk about exactly that.
Yeah, so historically, when we go back to, the early Africa, one of the things we styled our hair, but our hair, there was symbolic meaning to it. For example, if you were married, your age, your ethnic identity, socioeconomic status, where you ranked in the community, there were certain hairstyles you did, and people, even by your surname, people can tell what surname you had based on the way you styled your hair. So we're looking back, and now when we look at the enslavement of over 12 million men, women, and children, one of the things they did is shave our heads. And so therefore, people of all the different tribes, you didn't know who you were.
The fact that a Crown Act had to even be passed.
We were talking about what? Hair discrimination, where people get fired for having braids, cornrows, and locks. So no, it wasn't a long time ago.
So
we're far past.
Embracing it should be.
White people embracing it should be them respecting that it is a historical, spiritual thing that comes from Africa that was not meant for them. Just like rap music, just like mad other shit. Like
okay,
people don't need to be on Afrobeat.
So I could probably find 100 black people and ask them why they get braids. None of them are gonna say because
It don't matter why they get braids.
But that's
It
the thing.
doesn't matter. Why you get
It
braids
matters
is irrelevant.
I've never heard somebody say, yo, I get braids because it's my
It
historical
doesn't
culture.
matter.
So
It doesn't
that's
matter.
what it means, but that's not what people. That's not why
It
people.
doesn't
do
matter.
what
It
it's
doesn't matter. It
symbolized.
doesn't matter why
So
people
we
get
just
braids
make it
now.
cool to have braids.
It doesn't matter.
White people shouldn't be getting this because it's black. But when white people said
No.
black people shouldn't do this because it's white, we were fucking mad.
I don't know what you're talking about. When you talk about white culture, what are you talking about?
Just white people.
White, like what?
Like white American.
Like what? It's all stolen. It doesn't exist. Black people can't try to be white.
Then what do you call them straighten their hair?
That's not
33.
straight hair is not. Straight hair is not just black people want to be white by straightening their hair. That's also
But we embrace a
part
lot
of.
we embrace
That
a
is
lot
also
of-
part of racist and systematic white thinking. That
But
you
we steal a
would
lot of
think
things
that.
too. We take them from every culture.
We don't.
All
No, we don't. It's not. Bro. So there's nothing you can do or anybody can do to convince me that getting cornrows is a good idea. It's never gonna. I'm never gonna see him and be like, "Wow, you got cornrows." That's such a high level of respect for black culture. Matter of fact, it's a slap in the face and it's a disrespect.
The white women think they about to. No, white bitches about to.
Come on, man, but you want to dress get cornrows?
But they
What's
get
somebody got Justin Bieber
French
hair?
braids. Yo,
It goes forward like this and it hangs in his eyes.
bro, they get French braids.
He wants
what
to
the
get
fuck?
cornrows.
They be white people braid their hair all the time, bro. They be getting 2 cornrows from the cheer squad. They be getting the French braids. The braiding is braiding. They've been braiding their hair. They've been braiding their hair forever.
Tell them to get French braids.
It's just the opposite direction. God damn, what's different?
It's French. It's not black culture. It don't have nothing to do with anything his ancestors stole. Talk to them and tell him don't get that shit.
I already told him my braiders to hook them up.
Tell him don't get that shit from you. All of y'all are problematic as fuck for even encouraging our opinion.
I want him to be himself. That's what
I think getting cornrows is him being himself.
he's trying to do. That.
I had to leave the conversation right there. There's so many more videos I can post about the history of black hair. It carries generations of meaning. Survival, resistance, identity. So much more than just a style to try. Station was hard for all of us to have, including the white man who just came in for a haircut. But even he was patient with the process. Barbershops tend to be the place where conversations like these take place, but they also tend to be very segregated. So what do you think? Should white people get cornrows?